Hello there.
We would be honored if you would join us.
I've been looking forward to this.
Blind! Deploy the garrison! Move!
Now this is pod racing.
It's over, Anakin! I have the high ground!
This is where the fun begins.
The Force is with you, young Skywalker. You are not a Jedi yet.
You stuck-up, half-witted, scruffy-looking nerfer.
You underestimate my power! You were the chosen one! It was said that you would destroy the Sith, not join them! Bring balance to the Force, not leave it in darkness! You were my brother, Anakin! I love you!
We're keepers of the peace, not soldiers.
Once more, the Sith will rule the galaxy. And we shall have peace.
Hello?
Alrighty, hello everybody. Thanks for joining us for another episode. As always, I have Nick here with me, and I have Kevin. And together we are the Keepers of the Peace podcast. So today we've got a lot of stuff to jump into. So we'll jump right on in here. We're gonna on the agenda. We got the new Superman and Lois show that is premiering on CW. We'll talk about the pilot and the premise of the show. We've got a Spider-Man 3 title that we'll talk about. We'll have some interesting plots and all kinds of multiverse stuff to talk about in there. Pertaining to our Star Wars theme tonight, we're going to be talking about our 3 favorite scenes in all of the Star Wars canon. So, you know, it can get real personal, real emotional. We don't know. I don't know what Kevin's. We don't know who's going to pick what. It's going to be real cool. As always, we're gonna do some WandaVision predictions with the episode coming up tomorrow. Who the villains might be. Just a whole mess of stuff that Wanda's created in the hex over there. And one more subject that we have to cover tonight is we're gonna talk about the Blue Beetle movie that we heard being announced this week. Kevin's real psyched about that. He's gonna give us the scoop on that. So why don't we jump right on in, guys? We'll start off with Superman and Lois.
Kevin, take it away.
Okay. Well, first, for starters, honestly, watching that first pilot was pretty cool. Just because with the pandemic, we haven't gotten much CW content or any superhero content to the matter, other than the streaming services. But this was really good. I mean, they filmed this whole they're still filming it right now, but the whole series itself has been filmed during the pandemic, and I just feel like recently the CW is really trying to make more content better, cinematography wise. Just because from seeing it, it looked like an actual Superman movie. I mean, the pilot itself was 2 hours long, and it just felt like it was another, Man of Steel movie. I enjoyed it. I don't know if you guys watched it. I highly recommend it if you haven't, obviously.
I watched it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching it, but I still haven't watched it yet. But...
I don't want to spoil too much for you, Nick, if you don't want me to talk about it.
I knew what was going to happen in Endgame a week before, so I mean, I'm okay. I think I'll be
okay.
Right. I'm a spoiler looking for person, so I'll be alright.
Gotcha. All right, so little spoilers if anybody hasn't seen it.
Spoiler alert! You've been warned.
Alert, yeah, you've been warned. Here we go. So yeah, I mean, it opens up with him kind of, just with every CW show, in Arrowverse style wise, they always start off with the main character narrating, the intros. So obviously Tyler Hoechlin's Superman was the one that narrated this show. So obviously we know the backstory of Superman. You know, he comes to Earth. Krypton's basically blown up by whatever the fuck, you know. And, you know, he comes to Earth and, you know, Martha and Jonathan can't find him. They raise him to be like this normal human being, but in reality he's not because he's an alien. So,
No way.
you know, likewise, later down the timeline, you know, Jonathan Kent dies from a heart attack, and he moves to Metropolis, eventually meets Lois Lane at the Daily Planet. He becomes Superman, and what I thought was cool in the pilot, actually, they showed, like, it was an Easter egg from one of the comics originally back in the 40s.
I was hoping you were gonna bring this up.
Yeah, yeah. It was
which one did you spot?
the Action Comics one by Max Fisher or whatever.
Yeah,
I think that's his
dude.
name. Yeah, like with the green car and stuff. Like I thought that
Yeah.
was sick. And the fact that he had like the old like Superman like logo
with the black, with the black background. Yep.
Yeah,
Wicked cool.
I like when I saw that, I just freaked out. I was just like, dude, like this is the perfect way to start off this show.
Yeah.
I know it's gonna be great. Like
I caught the news reel of him carrying down the space shuttle, which was one of, not the first, but one of the very early Superman stories of him in Smallville.
Yeah.
Or maybe, yeah, I believe in Smallville. And yeah, there was some really cool homages to like the first couple comics and the big, yeah, it was really cool. It was really cool to kind of scope those out.
Yeah, and I like how the kid was like, "Oh, like, you know, I like your suit," and he goes, "Thanks, my mom made it," and then he just flies off. Like that's awesome, you know, like because usually like Superman gets his suit. Yeah, so usually Superman gets his suit from like the Fortress of Solitude or something, but no, like his mom actually made him that suit.
That's cool.
But then later in the show, you know, he meets Lois, they get married, they have kids. Jonathan and Jordan. Originally before Crisis on Infinite Earths happened, it was just Jonathan, but since everything got rewritten, they had twins instead of one kid. So Jonathan's like this, you know, really sportsy, normal type, you know, person, like doesn't really like show like that much anxiety in the show, whereas Jordan is like this like very anxious type kid. Doesn't have many friends and like, you know, throws temper tantrums like all the time, I guess. But later in the show we find out that Jordan is actually more like Clark than he is Lois, just because he starts to show his powers, I guess. And I think that's probably why like he was like all like delusional and like anxious as a kid growing up, even up to this point, just because he's trying to like, you know, he's like asking himself like, oh, what's wrong with me? You know what I mean? Like, because like when Clark came to Earth, he had those same feelings and emotions as well. So I thought that was pretty cool. But they eventually come back to Smallville just because Clark's mom dies of a stroke. So they decide that they're going to live there because I guess they have to pay off the loans or whatever that Martha Kent was like trying to like use on the house, I guess. So they decide to stay. They want to like bring back the farming business. That's all cool. I love the whole Kent farm set up there too. It looked really amazing. Like, I don't know where they filmed the location, obviously, but it was cool.
At a farm.
And then we find out the villain is this alternate universe. I think it's an alternate universe Lex Luthor. It's not John Cryer's Lex Luthor, obviously, but I think it's from a parallel universe. And when the crisis happens,
multiverse, perhaps.
Yeah, multiverse. But when Crisis happened, I think like that Lex Luthor's Earth got destroyed, and he somehow managed to get on Earth Prime, which is the Earth now, and he's taking revenge on Superman. So that's my theory. I don't know what it's gonna do for the next episode, but yeah, that's the whole Superman Lois recap.
Did they say how many episodes it's gonna be yet?
I believe it's like 15 to 16.
'Cause
I
know
could be wrong
the
though,
Marvel universe
but
make sure to dot every I and cross every T with everything that's gonna happen in every like timestamp of every episode before it comes out like a month in advance. I didn't know if the DC universe had that
Yeah.
going on or now.
from what I was told, it's at least 15 to 16. I
have
mean,
a guy.
usually CW shows run to like 20 episodes. But that's what I was told, and I know David
Kevin's inside
Ramsey, who
source.
played Diggle, on Arrow, is directing the 7th episode.
Oh, cool.
So,
who do you
yeah.
think are gonna who do you think is gonna show up in that show? Do you have any predictions on some cameos or Matt? You two, you guys are the super deep comic boys over here. I'm just a Star Wars guy.
Well, they'll definitely they're not going to do it right now, obviously, just because of COVID. They were supposed to do a crossover event, so obviously they're going to have like the Flash and Supergirl and all them come back on the show. But like right now, it's just introducing all the characters and stuff and the whole like plot storyline of the show.
And you don't think they filmed anything with any of those guys yet?
I don't know, honestly. They're still like in the early stages of the show. All I know right now is David Ramsey's episode, and he's supposed to come back as Diggle. And I don't know if you guys seen the Arrow finale, but he finds the Green Lantern ring.
Mm-hmm.
So I think like he said, he was moving to Metropolis at the end of the Arrow finale. So I feel like maybe if he comes in, we might see some Green Lantern stuff. I could be wrong though, but
That'd be cool.
that's just the first thing. But yeah.
It was a very strong first episode, very strong pilot, set the tone very well for the show. Looks like it's going to be I think it would be cool. I agree with Kevin. It's too early for it, but it would be cool to see like the Flash most likely make an appearance, Supergirl, stuff like that.
Who do you think for bad guys?
Yeah, the show for bad guys. Definitely Lex Luthor. I think that was a good call.
Mm-hmm.
There's Lex Luthor, and then I guess his name's Morgan Edge, but he's kind of like this like media Mongol guy that likes to like deal with the Daily Planet. And I guess like in the first episode, we learned that like he's trying to like buy off like properties in Smallville. I don't know why, but like he's like an anti-villain in the comics. I think like he's more of like a media person, but
yeah.
I know he was confirmed.
Like a Triple J out there in the DC world.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so we'll see how the show pans out.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll put more input in next week. Are they weekly episodes?
Yeah, they're on every Tuesday night at 8.
Yeah, I think this is the least I've talked in all 4 episodes, so that's good. Got Nick being quiet for the first 15 minutes. It's always good for people's ears. I'll have more input in the next one.
Yeah, well, we'll go into Spider-Man 3 then. Everyone's been really psyched about that. There's been a lot of talk ever since the beginning. Before WandaVision even came out, that like Tobey Maguire was gonna make an appearance, Andrew Garfield. So then people obviously put it together like, oh, this could be multiverse stuff.
Right.
Obviously, without jumping into WandaVision right now, obviously we're confirmed that is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So Spider-Man 3, No Way Home. So we're sticking with the home in the titles. We got Homecoming, Far From Home, No Way Home.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that's Marvel just being whatever, and just thinking. I mean, I think it's cool, or maybe I don't know what they're dropping hints at, maybe.
Right, exactly.
But so we got the we got the title here. We got Home appearing and all different titles. We got multiverse stuff going on. We have all 3 different Spider-Men potentially showing up. We have old villains like Dr. Octopus, Green Goblin.
Yeah,
Who knows? Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. So there's talk of it. Does it tie into Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness? What are your hot takes? What are your hot takes, boys? You got it? You got any?
You can go, Nick.
All right,
I talked a lot.
All right, we got a million
out,
hot
man.
takes. I think
Oh, it hit him.
that it's gonna be the very last episode, because what you were talking about earlier is that WandaVision hasn't even been renewed for second season, because I think that it's only gonna be a 1-season thing. I think it's going to, like, the very last episode is gonna tie into the beginning of the Spider-Man movie. Like, I think that all, like, the Spider-Man movie and the Doctor Strange
Like a
movie are all gonna
timeline?
kind of just be like one set story, because I think that that's how they're really just pushing Phase 4 right now, is that those are gonna be right in a row. So I think, like, the last episode, I think that the big guy could also be Spider-Man too. Maybe Spider-Man shows up at the end of the last episode, because they're running out of things.
Oh,
they're running out of
WandaVision?
help. Yeah, dude, what? That'd be crazy. I don't know.
That would be crazy.
I think that it could be.
We'll see if we get
Strange.
those hour-long episodes.
Yeah, wasn't that supposed to be the episode last week, or is it this week on? Do we know?
I thought it was last week too, but you know, I don't know.
Yeah,
We'll
then I
see
saw
tomorrow.
37
Or
minutes.
Oh, those sources.
Yeah,
yeah, seriously.
If it's reliable or not.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could
I
go
mean,
in
well,
so many directions.
Yeah.
With the last Spider-Man movie, the last thing that happens is Peter Parker is outed.
Yeah,
he's
that's a whole
outed
other
as
thing. They're gonna have,
Spider-Man.
like a John Wick 3 going
And
on.
right, so
Yeah.
we have an identity crisis kind of going on with Peter Parker too. So what is gonna happen with him? You know, because we haven't seen in any of the movies in past any of his Spider-Man's identity being revealed.
Right, and I think that's huge too for the multiverse, that he was the one that announced it. Like, I think that was our first, like, taste of a multiverse, and we didn't even, like, bat an eye at it. We were just like, oh, it's a Spider-Man cameo, but, like, that's not even the same Spider-Man. Like, that's a whole other universe.
Right.
So I think we got that right in our faces, and nobody even thought twice.
An
An
overlooked detail.
Right. Or, like, there'll be parallel timelines, like, maybe we'll have a little bit of WandaVision going on. Like, I think that Phase 4 is going to have a lot of tie-ins to, like, everything. Like, I think...
Yeah.
Do you think it's all going to be, like, one... You think it's Phase 4 is kind of, like, one big event?
Yes, right. Because it's kind of like how, like, Phase 3 was. Like, with, like, how everything kind of coexisted. Like, there wasn't a superhero movie that didn't involve the Avengers. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, every movie after Age of Ultron, there was, like, word of somebody, or, like, they turn and, like, somebody's, like, on, like, a TV saving somebody, or, like just, they made it very clear that it was all one thing going on.
Yeah.
And so I think that it's going to be the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just going to be interesting how they tie those ends between WandaVision and Spider-Man, and then Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. Do we know the official dates for the official date for Doctor Strange yet? Because Spider-Man said that it was going to be Christmas, right? So that'll be probably, like, the first week of December.
Doctor Strange is until, like, at least, like, November of 2022, from what I remember.
Right.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe we'll see James Bond by then. Probably not. We'll probably see the Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
Before
Yeah. Right. I haven't heard anything about James Bond in a while, so it's upsetting to say the least.
Yeah. Yeah. No, Spider-Man can just go so many different ways. Like, I think it's really going to come down to how WandaVision ends. Because, like, if they introduce Doctor Strange into it, or...
How many more episodes do we have of WandaVision?
I think 2.
After tomorrow?
I think
or
after
including tomorrow?
Oh, is it 1? So
it's 1
tomorrow's and then...
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay.
It's either 2 or 3.
Wow. 2. That went by quick.
Yeah, I mean, right now we're entering the climax of the show.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
And you have the good old Ultron theory that's been going around. I saw on the old TikTok of the one of the books of spells that is missing with Doctor Strange in the Doctor Strange movie. That looks pretty similar to what's in Agnes's lair. So.
Oh my god. That song is stuck in my head. I've been, like, watching all the TikToks and shit, and people are making parodies of Agatha, like, all along. And I watched...
Oh my god.
I watched this, like, parody of, like, Palpatine on I was supposed to send it to you guys. I don't know if I saved it, but I sent it to like one of my friends, so I'll send you guys later. But like, it was really funny. But like, that song has been stuck in my head all week, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah, people are making like trap remixes on
Yeah, so-
SoundCloud and everything. It's great.
Yeah.
So moving into WandaVision, I mean, I was obviously I think all of us were pretty far off from who the engineer was going to be. I really wasn't even entirely sure who she was until she was introduced.
Wait, who? Wait, hold
Yeah,
on.
I
What?
mean-
The engineer?
Who even was she? Like, she was a military person, right?
Yeah, she was a military person.
Yeah.
I
Like,
think I wasn't even
it's
paying
so
attention to
funny
that.
because
I'm confused.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
it's so funny because they've been
When she got that big vehicle to go drive for Monica to drive through the hex.
Oh, that was just like
Mhm.
random.
Yeah.
background
So
character? That's bullshit.
I don't know, but see, I don't know if it's just some random background character. Now what it seems like is that there's a lot of Captain Marvel tie-ins,
Right.
and I'm not very well versed in Captain Marvel and the background characters in
Carol
that
Danvers? She was born
in that universe.
Beverly, Massachusetts, bro. Look it up. Read a comic book.
Whoa.
You guys actually know that?
Whoa,
Did you guys know that?
did not.
Look up the comic books there.
I mean, I knew from the site that all the Marvel characters came from like different 50 states, and I knew Captain Marvel came from Mass, but I didn't know it was Beverly.
Yeah, they say it in one of the old comic
Oh.
books. But I think it's funny. It's just
Oh, wow.
Carol Danvers from Beverly. Her
Whoa.
own native
Whoa.
character, and she's the baddest one of them all out there. Better watch out.
Yo,
No,
Brie Larson, you want to go to Super Sub with me? I'll buy you a sub.
Yeah, I don't think Brie Larson cares about Beverly, but
Yeah, no, she probably doesn't.
yeah, no, I think it'd be cool to have a Captain Marvel thing going on. I mean, that's the thing. Like, literally, we could have 8 different cameos in tomorrow's episode. Like, I don't even think it will be just one person. Like, it's so intertwined with the Avengers and everybody. Like, anyone that's still alive and all of the Fox people, like, anyone could be in this episode.
Yeah.
And it's not just
I
like,
mean,
one
like-
person. Like,
I feel like the surprise cameo that like we won't know about won't be till like the very last episode. But
yeah,
I
it'll be at
feel
the
like
very end. But I feel like it's gonna
Yeah,
tie into
yeah, obviously.
Spider-Man.
yeah, but for tomorrow though,
Ultron's gonna
with all
come
the
out.
Ultron tie-ins, I think that might like be it.
that was an interesting find as well.
Yeah.
Was that the end credit scene of
It was one of the commercial scenes. Remember
No,
they're talking
no.
about what?
when they're talking with Nick Fury? Is that the end credit scene of No, what movie was
No,
that
was in
from?
the scene. That was in Ultron.
Which one?
That was in Age of
Okay,
Ultron.
that wasn't Ultron. Okay.
Yeah. That's
Okay,
when
it
they're
was.
hiding
Okay,
with, with Hawk Guy out there with his family that no one knew.
Okay, it's been a hot minute since
Yeah,
I've seen
I
that
rewatched
movie.
movie a couple weeks ago, which is also funny because whenever you finish an episode of WandaVision and it's not just my account, Age of Ultron always gets recommended, which I find like
As a-
it really does.
Watch
Like,
that.
when
He
you
has
finish
to.
an episode, Age of
what?
Ultron always pops up as the suggested like what to watch next.
Really?
Yeah, and it's not like you
Huh,
scroll through
that's
and click it.
interesting,
It's
huh?
like when the show ends, it'll just show like play next, and it's always Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
But it just started happening like the last
Yeah.
2 episodes. Well, like with the way that they've been doing their marketing
Yeah.
and stuff, I think that that's like a subtle nod that people just aren't picking up on.
Hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. There's so much stuff that could
Could
happen.
be.
And then like
Yeah, from villains to like, who actually is this Pietro?
yeah.
Like, what's his deal in this whole
Yeah.
thing? Because I mean, actually, last episode we didn't see anything from him.
No, there's
Yeah, we
in the
didn't
end credits.
See any Evan Peters?
Did you see the end
What's
credit
that?
scene?
What there was one this time? No,
You
I
did
didn't
not.
see it. No, no,
It
I
was
didn't.
like
All right, you can
3
tell me. I
seconds.
don't know.
It was like 3 seconds. though.
Well,
like when they're walking
oh,
down
what
into
was
the
it? Maybe I
basement,
did see it.
it shows like Wanda like walking to the basement, and then he's at like the top of the stairs, and he like has like possessed eyes. I forget what he says. He says some literally some like 4-word quote. Like I don't think it's super relevant.
Okay, no, I actually
he, like,
didn't see
popped
that.
up, like,
Damn.
behind her, and he had like he looked like he was possessed. But so that's the other thing. Like people are saying that he could be Mephisto. Like we don't know. I still think Mephisto. Like they have to if they showed Agatha. Like it has to be Mephisto.
At this point, now that we have the Agatha Harkness reveal, it's getting stronger that that Mephisto is going to be the kind of the one behind it.
Right. But I mean, they could do the same thing like they did with Thanos. Like how Thanos was going after that girl the whole time. What's her name? Lady whatever. She was like told him to go and like conquer planets. That's what the original Infinity War comic is. He's literally just like simping over this girl, and she's like, "Go kill these people."
Lady Death or whatever.
Yeah, Lady Death. Yeah, she's like, Thanos, I can't be with you until you conquer planets. And he's like, all right, I'll go do it. So he's like, the whole like half the universe is mine. Like we gotta destroy half of it. That's just like they just made that up. Like that literally wasn't even part of the original story. The original story was she was like, go impress me by murdering people, and he's like, all right, let's go. So I just think it's funny because like she's not in the movies at all, right? It's just Thanos's like they made it as like Thanos's own plot. So
right.
They do the same thing with Agatha as like all the nerds are like, oh, it's Mephisto, like we've been doing for 3 weeks. But it could end up just being her.
Yeah.
But I think that's kind of anticlimactic. But I mean, they're introducing a new villain, and I mean, Mephisto could show up if they did like a season 2. But I think now with everything that we know, Ultron is like the biggest of what could be happening. Who do you guys think Pietro is though? Because he's definitely not him. Like even they've literally confirmed it.
I think, considering that like it's gonna tie into Multiverse of Madness, and she is kind of altering reality. Agatha is a witch too, and what I've noticed is like all their powers and stuff are different colors. Like she has like purple type powers, and Vision has the Mind Stone, obviously. Wanda's got red. Monica's kind of got this like bluish vibe because she's getting like all this like kinetic energy just
that was
from
a really cool scene too. We could talk about
that was really cool. Right there. That was cool.
I thought that was cool. Good little like origin story for her character.
Yeah.
And who is it? Is it Billy or who's the other kid?
Tommy.
Is Billy's the one that is like Wanda, right?
That has the like mind powers, yeah. And then Tommy is the speedster.
Guy, yeah. And Billy's got like bluish powers too, from what I saw.
Yeah, he's got those.
But I feel like they're gonna like there's gonna be some sort of like finale fight with like all of them like going at each other, and it's gonna look sick.
Yeah. But that's when I think that these cameos are gonna happen. Like there's gonna be a huge fight. It's gonna be like a 5-on-2 fight or 5-on-1 fight. Like you think Agatha's gonna take on all these people? Who do you got? So you got Monica, you got Wanda, you got Vision, and you got the 2 kids, and then whoever else they throw in.
Yeah.
Versus one person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
Like just like the odds anyways. Like what do you think? Like something's gonna.
Well, because right there, Pietro. That's where that could tie in. That's where we could get that Mephisto reveal.
Right. That's what I mean though.
Well,
like, it's gonna come down to like something big's gonna have to happen in a fight. Like I'm just so interested in what's gonna happen tomorrow. Like what do you guys think's gonna happen in tomorrow's episode?
We're definitely gonna learn like more about like Agatha and like her like plan, obviously, for Wanda.
Yeah.
I know that, and like maybe like we'll find out like what she did with the kids, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. What happened to them? I like don't even want to think about it.
I think
she
tries to mutate them or something.
I almost think she turned one of them into that fly that's on the wall, and then I think she turned the other one into the bunny that she's holding.
Yeah.
Except Bunny looks petrified.
She's a magician and a witch.
Like she's holding it like it's shaking.
Well, she's just
dude. I don't know. I don't know. I think she did something like that to the kids because, I don't know.
We'll find out
So
tomorrow.
back, they're not just gonna be a bunny and a fly for the rest of the show. Gotta do something with them.
Could you imagine though?
The
Yeah.
bunny and fly.
Who knows?
Pops
Who knows?
come out next month.
Well, if we get these hour-long episodes, that they could potentially be, because I mean, even if they're not, maybe more like 45 minutes or something like that.
Right, something more like Mandalorian 22-minute episodes that we're looking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
At least give us a 45-minute episode, because like all the ones recently have been like only like 30 minutes or less.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, but
really, I agree with Kevin. I think we're gonna get a lot of reveal as to like what Agatha's role in like the whole the whole hex is, because in that little music flashback, she's like doing magic with her hands, and it seems like she's actually controlling the people.
Right.
So
which I've been saying the whole time. Like I thought that
so maybe
Wanda
she
was working with
has
them, but it's
maybe she has the hex over Wanda.
yeah. No, it definitely is. And I like knew that she didn't have control. Like I didn't know where to point the finger, but like when I was talking about like I thought Wanda was in on it, but I knew somebody else was pulling strings. But I thought they were kind of like powering her up more. But it seems like she's like completely unaware of literally everything. Like she's not even in on it. So
well, with those super cool Modern Family-esque face to camera, like confession style, scenes we had in there where she just clearly has no idea what's going on. It seems like she's completely dazed and confused. She's agitated. And I mean, she has, now that these things are unfolding in front of her, obviously she has the right to, but now obviously we have Kat Dennings, Dr. Oh my god, I'm blanking on her name.
Darcy Lewis.
Darcy Lewis. Well, now we have her up with Vision, and we have her intertwined into the universe now. So, and then jumping back to we got to see that really cool scene with Monica breaking through the hex and kind of all the different versions of herself splitting off from
that was really cool.
her personalities. And actually, and if you listen to the what's being said,
it was like a Rey in Star Wars moment in the last movie.
It was, dude. If you listen to what's being said, it was the scene in Captain Marvel where they're sitting at the dinner table, and they're having this conversation with her mom. And after that conversation ends, you see her pull back together, and we get to see the birth of Photon, a new superhero added to the massive repertoire of superheroes that already exist in the MCU. So that was a really cool moment. And then she came in. Well, when she came into the hex, she got to see with clearer vision what was actually going on, and you could see that because we were talking about the color schemes earlier. It wasn't actually red; it was purple, and everything was kind of. It looked like an acid trip, really.
Yeah.
So she kind of got to see things for what they really were, and we were talking to Agatha. Kind of has that purple hue going with her powers and stuff like that. So again, that just definitely harkens to this is her game, and Wanda's clearly just a pawn. So I think we'll have a big. I think Vision's going to do something really big this episode. Because honestly, it was kind of funny. Again, that funny Modern Family style where they're sitting outside the construction truck in the seat.
Yeah, and
he's like
posted up.
What am I doing with this microphone? This is ridiculous. And he flies off. Oh my god, I was cracking up, dude. That was so funny. Oh my god. Now I'm hyped for the episode tomorrow. I'm going to have to wake up an hour early from work just to make sure I can catch it.
I like seeing that episode though, where they were waiting in traffic, and then like random things were just like spawning in
Yeah,
front of them.
yeah, just like
And he just got
just
sick
like
of it and just like
construction
flew away. And she's
workers.
like, "All right, I'll catch up with you later."
Yeah, nice knowing you.
But like, we also never saw him at the end, right? Like, we saw him fly away, but
We saw him fly away, yeah. But yeah, that being said, I really like Kat Dennings as Darcy Lewis. I think she adds a funny quirkiness to the show.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. I wonder what's gonna happen with Jimmy Woo as well. I mean, like,
Yeah, the
He's
Wooster.
Mephisto.
yeah.
Yeah, Jimmy Woo.
Oh,
He just
like,
loves
"God."
getting coffee.
yeah,
Jimmy
one
Woo
magic
is
just
that coffee, or is that
he just loves getting coffee, dude.
his excuse?
Mhm.
He's going to check in on Agatha. See, there it is. Whole time we thought it was that director dickhead guy, but it's Jimmy Woo all along again. It's gonna be the song. It's gonna be the remix.
Oh man.
It's gonna be
Well,
him getting coffee.
WandaVision will be a big one. WandaVision will definitely be a big one. If you're listening in, we're gonna try and start doing some Friday quick react videos to these episodes, so we can try and get our reactions to the episodes out a little quicker than a week later. Seeing as though these are going to be the final episodes, so tune in for some shorter clips coming up on Friday for the next.
With the new theme and
I think-
everything, it'll be the WandaVision hot take.
Yeah.
Time.
Yeah, we'll be the WandaVision hot take, and we'll all weigh in our opinions on the episode real quick. So if you're following the show, make sure to follow us on that on Fridays. We'll be doing that the next 2 or 3 weeks, probably for the next episode or two, and then the wrap up to see where we're at there.
Mhm.
So putting WandaVision aside now, we're gonna talk about our 3 favorite Star Wars scenes. Kind of shift gears a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
This is a topic we've been wanting to discuss for the past week or two. We finally got it on the table here. Nick, you are literally one of the biggest Star Wars fans that I know. Aside from maybe a few, but you definitely take the cake here. I'm really interested to hear your takes, man.
Yeah. I mean, I think what we should do is we should all do like 3 and then 2 and then 1.
I
So
like
kind
it.
of,
I like it.
We don't just each take the stage for 20 minutes at a time. But
I like it.
I didn't even want to write them down because I feel like as someone who sees the movies all the time, they change. Like, you could ask me this question a month ago and then a month later, and they're always different. But I think that I'm trying to think of how to do the 3. I don't know. I can kind of just I'll categorize them. I'll put them in 3, 2, 1. I think 3 would be the end of episode 6. Kind of like two parts to it. First, it's not even when Vader saves Luke from Palpatine. I think it's more of when the Death Star is about to be destroyed and they're running out, and Luke tries to go and save him on the Imperial shuttle, and he wants to save his dad, and his dad is finally admitting that Luke was right and that there was good in him, which we tangent into The Last Jedi and how Kylo had one bad thought and Luke goes to try and kill him, but we won't get into that, and his dad was a mass murderer and it was fine. But I think that scene was was a very touching scene, and I feel like it kind of caps Vader's story. Like, Vader wasn't a bad guy to begin with. It was kind of one of those things where he was told a lie to save the love of his life, and Star Wars is more of like a old love story more than anything. The whole reason he becomes Darth Vader is because he's tricked.
Yeah,
He does everything out of trying to save Padme, and so at the end of that, he realizes after he's been trapped in that suit for 20 years that there is still good in him, and it took his son to show it to him. And just like the way that they play the music, and it's like the Imperial March, but it's like a nice major key one, just really touching. I always just love that scene. That's if not 3, I think it goes back and forth to my favorite. But I just think that the way that he just talks to him, and he's like, "You were right. Everything that I've done for that, and I see that I can still do good." But he wanted to end his life there. And he was just like, "I'll die with what I've created, what I've caused. But you were right. I think it's always been a touching scene in a space battle movie.
Absolutely, man. I mean, well, yeah, to see the demise of probably easily one of the most recognizable villains, if you want to call it that,
That's
recognizable villains, anti-heroes.
He's more. I'd say he's more of an anti-hero.
Right, most recognizable in this movie franchise. I mean, to see the demise of him, and of course, it's gonna hit every fan.
Exactly, and his last moment was
in a different
saving
way.
his son from the guy who made him such an evil person.
Exactly.
And like, there's the parallels to it where you can bring it into the fight where he sees the parallels of like what happened to Mace Windu, and how he made the wrong choice then. And it's literally like a shot-for-shot scene if you go back and realize that that's like him contemplating. He knows that he needs to make the right choice 30 years later.
Good pick.
Kevin is having some difficulties over there.
I am, yeah. Sorry, my thing was about to die. I had to plug it in.
There we go.
Now, Kevin, do you want to do your
Sorry
number
about
3?
My number 3?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I have 3 that are really good. So not in any particular order, but one scene I do like is in Return of the Jedi when they're on the Battle of Endor. Chewie comes out of the walker. I love that scene. I thought it was really funny. The fact that he like hijacked that basically and like did whatever the fuck inside of the troopers in there. But I thought that was great just because like it brings out humor and Star Wars basically with that scene. I loved all the Ewoks too. They're great. Wicket was fantastic. But like that scene, I like, well, from watching it as a kid, like that just made me laugh. So like that's one of my favorite scenes there.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
Comedy wise. For like a really good scene though, I'd have to say Luke's training on Dagobah. Oh, is this 3 number 3s?
Well, you were doing 3, 2, and then 1.
Oh, so we're going.
We're rotating.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
So now it's Matt's turn.
Oh, so okay, so that was your so the Endor scene. Nice.
Yeah.
No, dude, the Endor scene is classic, dude. When I was a kid, that was one of my favorite scenes too. I loved the Ewoks, dude. I mean, dude, it's hilarious. The little teddy bears, fighting clone troopers. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's classic. It's a little lighthearted. It's kind of lighthearted moment in a really heavy Star Wars movie.
Right.
But for my number 3, I'm actually the lightsaber scene between Rey and Kylo Ren when they're on the Death Star 2. When I saw that in theaters, maybe it's just because I saw it in theaters, but like just like with the big waves crashing around them and like just dude like Adam Driver just did such a great job playing. He's just such a great actor in general, but he did such a great job driving home Kylo Ren. Just like the fierce look on his face and like the brutality of like how hard and like how emotional the battle is.
Yeah, I love
with the waves and the music.
I thought that was a very good movie.
That scene to me, I was in the theater. I was like, whoa, this is crazy. Like, it was so creepy and eerie with the old Death Star in the background.
They were playing no music either. That was such a cool touch to that scene because every Star Wars fight, like ever, not to harp on to what you were saying, but like every Star Wars fight has always had like a big theatrical score, but like it was just the waves crashing and the lightsabers slamming against each other, and just like you could hear every like grunt they were making. It was just made it so much more intense.
Like the electric crackle of like the lightsabers like hitting against each other and like it echoing through an old hollowed out Death Star that like what the fuck happened to that thing, Just that scene just for a movie that I actually did my takeaway of that, I actually didn't really truly like it all that much, but that was a great scene. That was a great scene, and I always really liked Kylo Ren as a character, even though his lightsaber is ridiculous.
All right, so we're going to number 2.
All right, on to number 2 now.
All right. Well, I mean, I feel like I chose like classic ones. Like, I feel like we could do a freaking top 25, and I could tier list all of them. But
Oh yeah, but but you gotta name off the classics too.
yeah, I think the second one is from Episode 4 when Obi-Wan's giving Luke Anakin's lightsaber. I think that's a huge moment, and I mean, like when you see it originally, if you watch it in 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3 order, it's like you don't realize how much weight there is. There's actually a YouTube video where they made like a compilation and like a cut of like Obi-Wan, and it's like flashbacks of like the Clone Wars and stuff while he's doing that. The video is called Obi-Wan has PTSD, and it's a wiki video. It's like 7 minutes long, but it like every sentence that he says, it kind of like cuts away, and there's like theatrical music, and it like shows like everything that he's talking about. And I think that's pretty cool that they did that like 30 years after the fact.
Yeah.
Like he could have just been making up random stuff, you know. That was something that
That's
seemed
true.
weighed super heavy on everything, because like looking back after watching all of them, if you watch that scene again, it has way more meaning. Like if you're like I said, like if you're watching them in the regular order, it's like all right, whatever. But like if you know what's going on, you realize how much more that scene brings to the table. And Luke also like puts a lightsaber staring at like right at his eye. If you pay attention, he turns it on literally with it like looking like right, like looking down into it, and then it jump cuts to it being a nerd fact of the day.
There we go.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think I just throwing 3 out there, but that's definitely a top 5 scene. I think it really like sets and paints the picture of everything in like the Skywalker legacy, especially if you've seen the prequels and like you know what that lightsaber actually means. Speaking of the Last Jedi, once again, how he just throws it off, that makes 0 sense. All right, Kevin, give us your second one. I'll pretend we didn't hear it.
Yeah, pretend you didn't hear it. So my second one, is that scene where they're on Luke and Yoda are on Dagobah, and he's training with them, and from what I remember, it's Luke like being upside down and Yoda's like on top. Yeah. But like Luke loses his concentration, and like, you know, Luke's just getting frustrated that like, you know, he's not really like getting that like, you know, force capability.
Right.
And Yoda's just like, oh, you know, size doesn't matter. Like, look at me, judge me by my size, do you? Like, I thought like that like quote right there was really like, that was like a really good quote in the movie in particular, just because like it doesn't matter like how big or small you are like in the world,
right,
or in the galaxy rather. Like, you know, you can do like anything if you put your mind to it. So with the Force, that is, you know, like Yoda has been teaching Jedi for like many years, and
700
like he can
years.
and 100, yeah. And he can freaking use the Force to lift up like whatever the hell, like for example Luke's X-wing, and Luke's just like, like I can't do this, like I can't even like keep you above my feet or whatever. But I thought that was a good like little lesson, just because like Yoda like kind of showed him who's boss in that situation. But it was a good learning lesson. It's something that like I remembered as a kid growing up, and I still do to this day. But yeah, that was a good scene.
Good job. I think we're at show.
There's a lot of good quotes in that scene. I always liked when Yoda says there is no try. There's only do or do not. There is no try.
Yeah.
You know, I've always that you know, some was one of those ones that's resonated with me through it too. It's a really good scene.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my number 2 actually comes from episode 2, and
Look at Matt
it's
with
the
these
big
hot
battle
takes.
scene that it's the big battle scene at the end of Attack of the Clones. Well, I mean, not the end, but towards the end of the big arena battle. Attack of the Clones was one of my favorite Star Wars movies, kind of to watch as a kid with a couple of my friends, just because of this big battle scene, because you knew it was coming. Yeah, after you got through all the beginning.
We're from that scene.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, and it's just really cool because you get to see a lot of Jedi. I mean, unfortunately, you see a lot of Jedi get killed. But that scene was always just, it was so big in scale, and there was so much going on. You got to see Mace Windu with the purple lightsaber, kind of for the first time. Anakin and Padme kind of team up in like the middle of the arena, and take out some clones and stuff. It was just always so much fun to watch that scene because it was just so kick ass. Obi-Wan kicking ass. It was just always a classic. Always a classic. Episode 2 will always hold a place in my heart. I love that scene. Always fun.
The Jango Fett.
And then it's a great. Oh yeah, it's a great scene to lead up to that that fight against Count Dooku, and then Anakin loses his hand, or part of his arm and stuff. So yeah, the whole big kind of ending of episode 2 was big, and that would be my number 2.
Yeah. All right, I have honorable mention before number 1. All right, so we all know.
All right, there you go.
The Last
We
Jedi.
all do an honorable mention.
Yeah, we can do that because we have like 75 million.
Yeah.
Good name. So, my favorite movie to make fun of, The Last Jedi, actually has one of my favorite scenes where Luke goes to destroy all the Jedi texts. Do you remember this? Was that in Rise of Skywalker? I don't remember. No, it wasn't. Was it?
No, it was
no.
Yeah, it was The Last Jedi.
Yeah, right the first time.
with the big tree, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I always love that scene where Luke goes to go destroy all the Jedi texts, and then Yoda stops him, and he's like, "What are you doing?" But I also thought that was a good scene because, like, he talks about he talks to Luke as a master, but it's almost like it's like another Mr. Miyagi scene where like Yoda has all his wisdom and like it brings it onto Luke, like in episode 5 and 6, and like how he always kind of is his teacher. And I thought it was just like a touching moment how like even though Luke is a Jedi master as a grizzled older man now, Yoda's like still like making fun of him and is like, I still teaching you lessons here there, kid.
Yeah.
And I just like the music and everything. I just love that scene. It's like very touching for a movie that has so many special moments. But that's an actual special moment that I've always enjoyed.
Yeah.
And, I would say episode 1 or number 1. Not episode 1, would have to be the end of episode 3. I think it's not just one specific scene, but like the end of the battle on Mustafar and Obi-Wan and Anakin's bout that they have, and some of the quotes from it are just like the most memorable in all of Star Wars, and just the raw emotion of how Obi-Wan feels about everything, and just Anakin is just pure hatred at that point, and Obi-Wan talks about how he's just nothing of who he knows, and he knows that that's not him, and he still tries to turn him throughout the whole battle, and just that's just like super, like they weren't only like a apprentice and a master, it was like they were like
it's heartbreaking,
father and son
dude.
and best friends. Right, exactly.
Heartbreaking.
And, like, deep down, you can tell that Obi-Wan knows that Anakin was like manipulated to do it, and that's why in some of the comic books too, they talk about they like re-go in. It's like a novelization comic book, and Obi-Wan like knows that Palpatine was manipulating him, and so like he knows that there's a lot of negative dark force energy that's kind of driving Anakin. Like Anakin isn't even like it's almost like Anakin's in like what we'd like call like a blackout. Like he's not in full control of himself. So that's why he cuts off his legs instead of actually killing him, because he lets him survive on purpose, because he could have easily just like taken off his head. But it says in the book how he purposefully did it so that Anakin could live with his decision without killing him, because he didn't want to kill his friend. I always thought that was a touching moment. Like after reading that, I thought that was pretty cool. because like you could tell
Yeah.
in a way, like just the way that they were acting, and it's such a powerful scene.
Mm.
So I always thought that was, if not number one of my like all-time top threes. Like I kind of just picked three that right now I think would be a top three. But like, if you asked me what my top three movies are, or top three scenes, I would give you a different answer every other day. So
That's fair.
Yeah.
and then you talk about
Yeah.
like him, like the parallels. It's basically the end of episode 3, like with Padme giving birth to the kids and like Vader slowly becoming Darth Vader through all the scenes. Like when they first like take him off Mustafar and how they start like making him into the suit and everything. And then the parallel of like Obi-Wan hiding the kids and Bail Organa taking Leia. Like I just like how that all just seamlessly kind of ties all the knots in between.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah, it was. It was definitely an emotional scene because just even after all of that, and Anakin gets laid down and then put into the Darth Vader suit. The no that he yells out. When he sees what he's become. Like I said, it seems like he's been almost broken of that trance.
Right.
And realizes something is terribly, terribly wrong.
Right, and people always give that shit, but like it's literally like it's one of those things that like once he realizes what he's done, it's way too late.
Oh, of course,
And you
of
start
course.
seeing that like the second he becomes Darth Vader. Like it's not like he like realized that he was doing bad things at the end. He was literally doing them because he had to, or Palpatine would kill him.
Yep. Powerful stuff.
Yeah.
Kevin, number 1.
Okay, so my honorable mention before I give my first is the ending of Rogue One, where Vader literally like comes through the hallway and like slashes and destroys like all the rebels and shit. Like,
Oh yeah,
dude,
so
the fact, like,
badass.
that was so badass just to see, just because like we haven't seen like a live action Vader like decimate
Right,
like the
there are
shit
hundreds
out
of
of like.
comic books of that, but we've never seen that.
There's
once
like
in
a bunch of
movie.
comic books, yeah, but like you just see it in like that like whole like 30 seconds, like just right there, and like with Kenobi coming up, like I'm just imagining like, oh, like what if like we see something like that again with
Right.
like a live action Vader, you know what I mean? But like now with him like going head to head with it, I mean, which will probably happen, yeah. But
for those who don't know what they're talking about, you could pick up this comic book here, the Darth Vader series. You gotta get it. You gotta. If you haven't read it yet, get on it.
It's a good plug.
It was like right next to me. I couldn't not. Sorry, Kevin.
Had to take it out, yeah. No, you're good.
But no, it's so
yeah,
badass.
like that was a good scene. I really liked that scene. Because like Rogue One was kind of like sad because the whole planet was like.
Right, it was such a difference
But,
in emotion. Like I remember seeing it the night that it came out.
Yeah.
And like I always go to like the super early release, and so like there are people that are like
Mhm.
full cosplay, like sitting next to you with a Darth Vader suit, and it's like breathing during the whole movie. Like that's how hardcore these nerds are.
Yeah.
And just like people were like
Mhm.
crying at the end of Rogue
They're
One,
into
and
it,
then all of
man.
a sudden it just like flipped the switch to everyone just like shitting their pants. It was just like the craziest like turn to flip of emotion that I've ever witnessed in a movie theater.
Yeah. Like I had kind of a flip of emotion from that, and then like obviously like things like Infinity War, like that ending too. I know I'm getting off topic, but like that was emotional too for me, just because everybody like basically like got dusted away.
Mhm.
But like it's movies like that that like really like turn you on and like just like like it gets you in your feels basically.
Mm.
But yeah, my favorite. I mean, Nick, I'm gonna have to go along with you with the Revenge of the Sith as well. I was gonna say that as well. Just like the ending in particular. Just because of like how Anakin like is like finally like suffering from like all the shit that he's caused. He becomes Darth Vader, and now he's gonna like live the next like 20 years, being Palpatine's bitch, like a whole lot more than he already was as a Jedi.
Right.
And like the whole like it was a good ending because like basically what happens like going forth, but it was sad too just because like you see like the main three characters for the prequels were Anakin, Obi, and Padme. Obviously, they set that up through the whole three. But like with this ending scene in Revenge of the Sith, like it's just sad because she dies giving birth. Like it was predicted earlier in the film, and obviously we know it happens. Anakin falls to the dark side, and Obi-Wan's like, like crushed basically just because like Anakin went through that. But like it's good though just because like it's setting up everything for the future. And I was just like happy that like I know that like like there's still like more stories ahead for these characters, especially Kenobi. And then going into A New Hope, all that. I thought that was nice. So the ending Revenge of the Sith was cool, and also the scene where like like you see Padme's funeral, that was cool. But like the scene where like they're like the Stark, the Star Cruisers or whatever like are coming in, and you see like the Death Star being made, that was cool. You notice like a young Grand Moff Tarkin in the corner. I thought that was cool too. Like just the whole like build up of the Empire, like starting right from there, was really cool.
A cool touch.
So yeah. And I know I'm getting a little off topic now. I just found out this. I read an article, but the Bad Batch, which is like Clone Wars spinoff, is coming out May 4th.
Yep.
On Disney Plus.
Oh.
Yeah. And that starts basically like right near the end of Revenge of the Sith.
Rated Order 66,
if you saw the trailer.
Or like a day or two before.
So I'm pretty excited about that.
Week,
yeah.
Sweet.
I just read about that, so.
All right, and Matthew.
But yeah, that's my
all right. Well, my honorable mention before I pick my top favorite scene is would have to be the Darth Maul fight scene between Qui-Gon Jinn and Darth Maul. We all can say whatever we want about episode 1.
Yeah, I liked episode 1.
But
you're in a safe haven here.
But we all know that one of the highlights of the episode is the fight between Qui-Gon Jinn and Darth Maul. Not only just because that's like where the action really intensifies in the movie, but I mean, you get double lightsaber from Darth Maul, the 2-on-1. It was just such an intense lightsaber battle, especially with the laser doors, opening and closing, and them having to run through, and Obi-Wan being cut off from, his master, and having to see his master get stabbed right through the chest with the lightsaber. It's tough, but in that scene, it's kind of like it's like the making of Obi-Wan right there, almost. It's like right there. In that moment, he sees his master, pass on, and he has to. There's no one there to help him anymore. He's the one that has to step up to the plate.
Yeah.
And become who he's gonna be. And then he slashes Darth Maul in half.
First time.
But that was always just classic favorite scene. Sometimes I would throw on episode 1 just to watch that last, hour. Because it was so much fun. But
and before you hop on,
I gotta say,
end of episode 3.
Here we go. What we got?
When they're all ending, it's all wrapping up, right? Most people forget this. Yoda talks to Obi-Wan and he says, "Someone's coming through in the Force, an old master of yours, Qui-Gon Jinn." And they're talking about how he's going to be a Force ghost and teach him things. If we don't get that in the Obi-Wan show, I'm going to be bullshit. But so that's a huge thing that'll happen. Like they have to have Qui-Gon And I mean, we're kind of going. It's still a Star Wars topic. Sorry, Matt. I'm stealing everyone's thunder here. Where they had Liam Neeson talk about, like, he's like, oh, I didn't know they're making an Obi-Wan show. Like bullshit. Like, he definitely already filmed scenes and they were just playing stupid. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he definitely, he's definitely gonna be in it. Because like, if they don't do that, they're gonna be pissed. And I feel like so many people forget that quote is in it. Like, people think it might be like a deleted scene or something, but like that's in the movie. Matt will let Matt finish his drink before he gets into his number one.
I'm sorry. Number one scene definitely has to be the Death Star attack run with Luke and his squadron of X-wing biters. It was such a a heart-pounding sequence of events. And to watch them go into battle knowing that they're highly outnumbered, and it's kind of what you get with some of these big fight scenes, but you unfortunately see some of Luke's friends get gunned down in battle. And it really starts to take that turn in a movie where you're like, wow, man, things aren't really looking good for the Jedi right here. This could be the end. But once Luke gets down into that gully and he's got Vader on his tail, you have that classic, I have you now. Classic Vader, and then classic Luke just kind of doing what he does best and just being the hero that he knows he's supposed to be. And just going for it, and obviously, we've seen the movie. He sinks that goal and saves the day. But that was always like, it was kind of just like as a kid or even as an adult. Sometimes you stand up sometimes and you're just like, yeah, even though it's coming. But the first, when you first see that, and because as I said, the way that the tide turns, you don't really think that they're gonna pull it off, but when they do, it's just one of those hell yeah moments where you're like, this is what Star Wars is about. It's these moments of like triumph and just the light overcoming the dark side. So, that was just always the top of mine. I don't know if probably like you, it would change through time and different places, but that was just the Death Star attack run was really cool. That was awesome.
Yeah,
straight up like one of the greatest Star Wars moments.
I'm impressed, guys.
So
none of us said the fight in episode 5. None of us really even said the fight of episode 3. We got an episode 2 fight, episode 1 fight. I like it. They were different. I feel like most people's top 3 are the same, but I like they all had some like unique ones.
We got around the board, and then I mean, one last great scene. I mean, I think that everyone can enjoy, whether you're an old Star Wars fan, new Star Wars fan, is when Rey finds Luke on the end. And just that scene. There's no words said, but there's so much being said.
Right, the end of episode 7, where it was like the coolest scene ever, and then episode 8 is just no.
It's like a throw in the trash. Like
yeah,
scene.
It was so annoying because that's a good point. Like that's one of my favorite moments too. Like episode 7 was the first Star Wars movie that we've seen since we were all kids, and like the whole movie we're like, all right, Luke's gonna be here. All right, Luke's gonna be here. Maybe Luke's here. Like they said Luke Skywalker. Like, is he coming? And then he's at the very end. I thought there was gonna be like at least 20 more minutes of the film, and then they ended it. Like it was such like a like you got chills like the whole time, and then just like I was immediately pissed when like it just ended. I'm like, I can't even say a word.
Yep.
But it was just
so like, it was good though.
But then that just made me so mad how they did it in The Last Jedi. But I mean they redeemed his character in the 9th one. I mean the end of 8 wasn't bad either, but yeah, the way that they just like throws the lightsaber in the beginning was just so slap in the face of all the nerds.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, moving into the final segment, Kevin is going to run us real quick through we got a Blue Beetle movie coming up. When we
Kevin's
take
movie corner.
give us a quick prognosis here, and we'll wrap this episode up.
I gotta get like the iCarly thing that
Okay.
like hit like the cheering for whenever Kevin has his Kevin corner.
I'm like Gibby. Ooh.
Golf clap. Yeah.
So I don't know too much about it. I just read about it recently though that I guess like they are making a Blue Beetle movie. It's in the works. This director named Angel Manuel Soto is going to be directing the film. I have no idea who he is, but you know, he already like signed contracts through DC, and I guess it's still happening. They're still in early process of, you know, forming it all up and such. But it's going to be DC's first Latino movie, which is like pretty interesting. And I feel like with most DC movies now, like any movie in general, they're like bringing in all diversity type stuff, which is good. Because you know, like, you know, that's what the society is right now. Like, you know, we're all being diverse, which is great. And speaking of that, they just casted this girl named Sasha Kyle, I think that's her name, but she's playing Supergirl in the Flash movie. And this is going to be the first time we've seen Supergirl in a movie since like, I don't know, like the late 90s. I forget her name. I mean, I know like Melissa Benoist is on the show. Like, that's great. She even congratulated the girl. But you know, like, this is pretty exciting for her, and I'm just like really pumped to see what happens, I guess. And this Blue Beetle movie is going to be about Jaime Reyes, and he is the current Blue Beetle, not Ted Cord.
This is the Injustice Blue Beetle, right?
Yeah, the Injustice one. So it's going to be pretty exciting to see that. You guys watch Cobra Kai, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I still need to watch it a bit, but like I from like learning about this news, I see like a lot of fans want the like Latino type kid. I forget his name, but they think he should play Blue Beetle, and I think that's a great like ideal casting. But then again, I have no idea what DC's gonna do or who they're gonna pick. But that kid who is from Cobra Kai really wants to play this role, so hoping for the best, and we'll see where it goes.
There we go.
Good job, Kevin.
Yep.
You heard it here first.
Kevin, great job.
Hey.
Yay, I'm Gibby. I'll just take off my shirt and go, woo. Gibby.
Alrighty. Well, thank you for joining us. This has been another episode of the Keepers of the Peace podcast. We thank you for listening in, and if you have been enjoying the content, we'd appreciate it if you gave a like, a subscribe, a share, a comment. Hit us up on any of our Instagrams. Give us a follow. We would really appreciate it to get the channel kind of out there. And we'll see everybody tomorrow real quickly for a quick WandaVision reaction segment from the episode tomorrow. So everybody take it easy, and we'll see you next time.
Kevin, give us an outro.
Take us out, Kevin.
Yeah, bye.
Bye-bye.